Well, I'm never going to be watching the Muppets ever again now, so thank you, movie. Hello ladies and gentlemen and movie lovers of all kind, and welcome back to another new release review. And for today, I'll be covering the Happytime Murders. The Happytime Murders was directed by Brian Henson. Fun fact, Brian Henson is actually the son of the man who created the Muppets, Jim Henson. So there you go, fun fact of the day for you. It stars Melissa McCarthy, Bill Beretta, and Leslie David Baker. So the Happytime Murders is set in a world where puppets and humans coexist as one, something like the Muppets. Only it's like the real world. It's not this fairy tale world that the Muppets live in where everything is, songs and dancing and happy times. No, this time around, it is real life, it is dark, it is gritty, it is just extremely sexual in this movie for some reason. But regardless, this time we follow Phil Phillips, as he is known, played by Bill Beretta, or voiced by Bill Beretta, and Melissa McCarthy, and they are on the hunt. And those two, they are former partners. They used to both be cops, but now Phil Phillips is actually a PI, private investigator, for those of you who don't know. And they are on the hunt because there has been multiple puppet-only murders as of recent. And there is a puppet killer on the loose, so they must team up once again in order to track this killer down. So let's kick right off with the positives, guys. And the number one positive of this movie is just kind of the idea of the movie altogether. The whole thing with the raunchy puppets, honestly, I think that was brilliant. I think it was hilarious. I honestly love that it just kind of invaded my childhood and it just did this to it. I can't even explain it. You have puppets swearing left, right, and center, and like I said, this movie is surprisingly extremely sexual with puppets for some reason. That's really kind of messed up, but yeah, it really did just kind of crap all over my childhood and any thoughts I had of the Muppets. But in the same sense, I thought it was kind of hilarious, honestly. I think it was a brilliant idea. It's similar to what they did with Sausage Party back a few years ago, where they just kind of took an animated movie that looks like it's for kids, and it's, it's talking food and stuff like that, and then made it just this completely hard R-rated, just raunch fest, and that was hilarious. I expected that for this one. Definitely not as good as Sausage Party, but still I give them props for going that extra mile and making this puppet raunch fest. I thought the whole idea of it is hilarious, and really, once you come right out of the gate and you're seeing these puppets do all these crazy things, it's pretty funny as soon as the movie starts. And next, I don't know if I can really give the movie itself a positive for this, but I did enjoy it, so I will mention it, and I'll give it a positive because I thought it was pretty awesome. The end credits of this movie, it goes around just showing how they did everything, showing people in their green screen suits and walk around with the puppets and making them walk and talk and dance, and I thought all that stuff was hilarious. I thought it was really cool. It was part bloopers, part the making of, and I thought that was awesome. I really enjoyed that. Probably my favorite part of the movie, so that's why I'm giving it a positive. Next, the fact that I chuckled throughout this movie, an emphasis on the chuckled. I don't think I laughed really hard once. Sometimes I would laugh kind of hard, but out of kind of disgust and what am I watching right now? But I never really laughed hard at the jokes. And once you hit kind of the second half of the movie, it's not so much of the whole puppet thing anymore. It's just kind of in general. Even just super simple, stupid jokes, really, just because I don't know if that's a testament to my sense of humor, childish sense of humor, which I definitely do have. It's just kind of the random jokes, nothing to even do with the movie, just random insults that people are throwing at one another and stupid things that are happening, like some physical comedy, slapstick style stuff. So, I did chuckle throughout the movie. No really hard, belly laughing, LOLing or anything like that, but I did chuckle throughout most of the movie. And lastly, is just the voice work in this movie. I love the puppets. They all kind of had their own unique flavor to them, really. Phil Phillips, the main puppet, obviously, I think he was the best by far. I just really liked kind of how he carried himself. I actually genuinely liked him as a character, not just the voice work. So I really enjoyed Phil Phillips, and I enjoyed the voice work overall. Like I said, they brought a very unique feel to these puppets, and the voices, they really did kind of match the characters and the personalities that the puppets kind of portray. They have this look, the clothes that they wear, the style that they kind of have, their faces and things like that, and the voice work matched perfectly with the look of the puppets, so the voice work was really well done. And now into the negatives. It's not a very big list, but they are pretty heavy hitters. So firstly, is you really just don't care about the story at all in this one. At least I didn't. It was really just a kind of typical run-of-the-cop buddy comedy. I didn't care for it at all, honestly. I was paying attention, I knew what happened, and it was fine. But honestly, I didn't care for the story at all. I didn't care where it was going. I went to see raunchy puppets, and if I got a great story, awesome. But you didn't even get a good story or a half-decent story. It was kind of just a boring, bland, run-of-the-mill story. So the story I didn't care about at all. And next is the characters. Didn't care about any of the characters either, besides maybe like Phil Phillips. But other than that, the characters, they're in it for a little bit and then they're not, you never see them again. The kind of recurring characters, for the most part, they're really unlikable, except for Leslie David Baker, who played Stanley on The Office. I thought that was hilarious, seeing him over and over again and seeing him just drop F-bombs rather than just being Stanley from The Office. Thought that was funny, but other than that, I didn't care for any of the characters, and they were super one-note and super, like I said, stereotypical, and I just didn't care, honestly. I don't know how else to phase it. They were on the screen. If they died, they died. They didn't. I never felt like they were ever in peril, and if they were, I never cared. And the fact is, like I said, with being the first half of this movie, the thing is that after the novelty wears off of the raunchy puppets, it just becomes a super just average buddy cop comedy, something that you've seen 100,000 times before, and it's super average. Like I said, the story you don't care about, the characters you don't care about, and the buddy cop comediness you just don't care about. It goes exactly how you'd expect. And like I said, despite when I did chuckle throughout this movie, you know, just the moments that weren't making me laugh, and I was bored, and I was like, okay, you know. But like, I mean, honestly, thank God that this movie's only an hour and a half, because if it would have pushed any further than that, I think it would have been a lot worse, so the hour and a half time limit was fine. But yeah, like once the novelty wears off, the first half an hour, 45-ish minutes of the movie, you're kind of like, okay, I get it, and then you just see the puppets as just characters in the movie, and then you just kind of don't care anymore, and if you're not laughing, you're bored. The buddy cop comedy stuff is just average buddy cop comedy stuff. You even see it not just in movies, but in TV shows and books and things like that. Like, it's the same buddy cop story that's been everywhere. And honestly, this is a big negative, and I don't mean to sound so rude and crude about it, but it's true, and is the fact that I honestly, genuinely didn't like Melissa McCarthy in this movie. And it sucks, and I'm not one of those people that constantly bashes Melissa McCarthy, because I think Melissa McCarthy's hilarious. She definitely can be hilarious. So she showcases that she can have real comedic talent and that she can be funny, but she just kind of plays the same character so many times. Like, this character that's in this movie now, the Happytime Murders, is the exact same character that she played in The Heat. It's the same thing. It's another buddy cop comedy, and she's doing the exact same thing that she was doing in that one. And it's boring to me. She does the same thing over and over again, and I genuinely just didn't like her. She just seemed like she was an ass to absolutely everybody in this movie, and I didn't care for her character at all, or her story arc, or anything to do with her. And it's that much that I gave her a negative, honestly. Like, it's not the most prominent negative, but it's something that, you know, I thought that she could do a good job. I was like, hey, Melissa McCarthy, this could be funny. Like, if this turns out to be Bridesmaids, Spy, and then the Happytime Murders as her, like, trinity of her best films, awesome. But it wasn't. It was boring, and I genuinely didn't like her. I just thought she was mean to everybody, and I really just didn't care for her at all. So guys, those are my thoughts on the Happytime Murders. Please do not take your kids to this movie. It is not a kids movie. My brother almost went to see it a couple hours before I did. Luckily, the theater was like, no, you're too young. He's 12, so thank God they did not let him in, because I was watching this movie before I knew that he hadn't seen it. I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe he saw this. Like, it's not a kids movie. Do not take your kids to this movie, please. For the love of God, they will be scarred forever. Don't take them. But aside from that being said, the positives are the positives, the negatives are the negatives. I thought the movie was okay. So with that being said, I'm going to be giving the Happytime Murders a 6 out of 10. So guys, if you like this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know, what did you think of the Happytime Murders? And as always guys, thank you so much for watching. And that's a wrap.